The Trade Union Congress has agreed to shelve the planned two-day warning strike and has given the federal government 2 weeks to implement resolutions reached with the union. This was during an engagement between the Minister of Labour and Employment and representatives of the Congress, where they expressed concerns relating to decisions being taken by the federal government to mitigate the hardship being faced by citizens. The president of the Congress says that Labour is worried over the transparency of the distribution of palliatives to citizens and the management of funds given to state governors to reach out to suffering Nigerians.
Some of the issues that were raised, we needed to sort them out. And we believe that it was within our capacity to see if we can sort out some of these problems, even today. Because we raised our own point in our press conference earlier today, that yes, we just came in on board. We are still collecting our briefing to set the ball rolling, and all of a sudden we are confronted with strike notice.
The president has not pronounced anything relating to wage awards and the things that he is going to do for today. We have the federal workers. If you look at those things that were reeled out, there was nothing. We have some fears. And the fears are, number one, how can we monitor the state governors to be sure that this money is utilized for what it is meant to be? We all remember the issues surrounding Paris Club reforms, and so some states implemented it to the latter, but we have some few states here and there that we struggled with to get it implemented. Then that is one. Then secondly as well, we also think too that the basket is a bit too small, that the government can still do much more.
To take a look at this, we're joined by the immediate past chairman of TUC in Oyo State, Ogundiran, Emmanuel. Thank you very much for joining us. Mr. Emmanuel, if you can hear me, can you acknowledge?
Yeah, I said thank you very much. Good evening.
Good evening. Glad to have you. Earlier today, the Minister of Labour, during a press conference, appealed to organised labour to shelve the planned strike. Another meeting between Labour and government held in the afternoon, but the NLC distanced itself from it. What does that signify? Is it a case of no retreat, no surrender?
Well, you just said it. It is obvious the Nigeria Labour Congress has declared a no retreat, no surrender action. As for the TUC that is withdrawing from the strike, well, they have their reason. But that reason, what we are saying is, how many days ago has that subsidy been withdrawn? How many Nigerians are suffering as a result of that withdrawal? How many Nigerians have died as a result of that subsidy withdrawal? What is being done effectively to realistically assuage the feelings of Nigeria? Is it the food distribution? If you feed them for 2 days, when we consider the average family size in Nigeria, what is being given out as palliative today cannot feed an average Nigerian family for more than 2 days. After 2 days, what happened? What has happened to the real income of the fixed income earner, which is affecting those that are in the other sector? What is happening to the disposable income of an average Nigerian? These are questions that the federal government has turned blind eye and deaf ears to. And then these are the same set of people that you said you are ruling. Nigerians are dying, Nigerians are groaning, Nigerians are impoverished by hour.
Mr. Emmanuel, will I be wrong if I say that I'm sensing from your submission that you are not quite in alignment with TUC's decision to stay away from the strike?
I am not. I am not. With the way things are, I am not in alignment with the stand that has been taken by the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. I think a good labor center should feel the pulse of the member before taking such an action.
Is this a position that you feel a lot of TUC members share?
I'm very sure in Oyo State, if the TUC chairman and leadership is to be taken by their actions, they are joining the action tomorrow. Once it commences, in Oyo State, TUC is joining. If I go by the word of my successor in office, and that is the way we have been doing in Oyo State anyway.
So does that imply that there is no connection? I'm sorry, I need to follow this line of thought. Does that imply there is some sort of division or disconnect between the national body and the state body? And is there anything being done to come to a consensus in decisions like this that are important?
I believe so. You see, the Nigeria Labour Congress, everybody was aware they had a neck meeting where a decision was jointly taken. I doubt whether the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria had thought. It was just the national leadership that has taken that decision on behalf of its members. And the members are now saying no. Some members are now saying no. Although, if it was the result of the whole labor movement, the Trade Union Congress, I don't think we will have a labor movement saying no. While some are distancing themselves from the pending strike, some are saying we go together with the Nigeria Labour Congress. And that portrays a dangerous trend.
Okay, I'm hoping that there will be some meeting point eventually, but let's come to the reason for the strike quickly. NLC had claimed that government has not done anything to address the initial concerns that you also raised on the consequences of the removal of petrol subsidy. We know that the federal government and state government have taken a number of steps to alleviate the sufferings of the people. Again, the question of accountability, whether that is sufficient, may be a debate for another day. But why will NLC insist, and you seem to be in support, on putting the country on hold? Because there are consequences to every strike, both economic and otherwise. An issue that is already receiving attention.
I love the way you put it. But why send the leadership of the country now before announcing the removal of the subsidy? Knowing that the removal of subsidy will come with so much pain. Lives that have been lost because they cannot afford hospital bills, because they cannot afford drugs. Will those lives be back? By the time the federal government will have taken years to come to table or to come to its senses. Look, we are talking of. I'm discouraged that in Nigeria we don't value our human capital resource. Unfortunately, no matter how blessed we are with natural resources, it is this same human capital resource that we harness the natural resources to make wealth for us.
But aren't you worried, Mr. Emmanuel? Aren't you worried that conversations have been ongoing? This administration is almost 100 days old, I beg your pardon, and there doesn't seem to be a headway in agreements with labor and other unions. A meeting was supposed to have been had today. We don't know what the outcome will be. Aren't you worried that taking on a strike might not really achieve much if so far talks and dialogue hasn't worked?
No, I beg to disagree with you. On a serious note, it seems our leaders, the political elites in Nigeria, they always push people to the wall and make them use the weapons of their last resort. And that is what is happening. There's nothing good that can come out of any discussion with labor today because one part of the labor movement has pulled out. And whether we like it or not, that is the bigger sister, that is the stronger sister, whatever. It happened the last time. Decisions and truth can only be reaped when the labor movement acts in unity. And this is, as I said, it portrays danger for the labor movement, it portrays danger for the working class, it portrays danger for those who have seen the labor movement as a savior. And therefore, look, it has taken, you have just said it, for 100 days. Nigerians have been suffering for 100 days for just an act that was done unplanned. And they said failure to plan is planning to fail.
Well, I mean, your position.
I say this government does not fail, but the way it is going about it, look, to be sincere, to an average economist, Nigeria economy today is largely being run by fixed income earners. Your money and my money. Okay,
I would love for us to continue to get your thoughts, Mr. Emmanuel, but we're out of time for this conversation. Thank you so much for giving us your time. We appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you very much.